Hey, this week we're playing Rex Rocket. Rex Rocket from Castle Pixel, available now for PC on Steam. However, a heads up, I am playing the Mac version, which is not publicly available. It's been provided to me for the purpose of this video. It is not yet, as I mentioned, available publicly, which means that there may still be some bugs that they're working out in this version. I haven't noticed that to be the case, but just wanted to give you full transparency on the conditions under which this is being recorded. This is a Metroidvania for the computer. It's a very 8-bit style graphics, and I have skipped ahead a little bit in the game. I did the intro section, took me about, as you can see, 13 minutes, and that's 4% of the game right there. And so I'm going to go ahead and continue that game. See if I can remember the controls. And you are in a spaceship. You are this little guy right here. You're Rex Rocket, sort of a Lego guy. And I just finished the first mission, and now I need to go to my cryo sleep. Let's go ahead and do that. Space. So you're on a mission to another planet, and here you are somewhere in deep space. Things begin to go awry. And you wake up in the middle of the night, or I guess it's night out in space. And something has gone wrong. You can see all this junk on the ground from other aliens that have escaped. And I need to figure out what's going on. So you can shoot in any direction, except diagonals. Rexford, is that you? You just wake up or something? The Oozlings! Containment tanks! Light jump madness! The Terror Oozlings, they escaped their tanks and are causing chaos. Lauren, I'm pretty sure her circuits are completely fried. Uh-oh. Lauren is the name of the computer. When I awoke from cryosleep, she tried to convince me to take a bath in a toxic Terror Oozling vat. That's not good. If you run into Lauren, don't even try talking to her, just get away. Survivors have fled to the lower decks. Use the elevator by the mess hall to reach them. Cough, cough, Rexford. You must save the ship. My data, I mean our galaxy depends on it. Bleh. Map updated. Press M to show map, and there we are. So I am in the green square right now, and I need to get to the yellow square. I forget what the H stands for. But I can pan and zoom a bit. There we go. That's as close as you can zoom in. Reset. Oh, that's just if you change the position, you can reset it. And back. Here we go. And that is a checkpoint, also known as a rebuildatron. Because everything needs to have a sci-fi name, right? There. Boom! Gotcha. So since this is pretty early in the game, I haven't unlocked any special powers or abilities. Right now I'm just trying to destroy all these oozlings and get out of here. I don't know if I want to be walking on this green stuff. I guess not, because that's where more oozlings come out of. I had no idea. Oozlings take many shapes. There are bats up there, groundlings down here. Nearly an infinite supply, seemingly. And I'm not going to be able to clear the ground or clear everything out of here. Is that a power-up? Whoop. Half-living, half-mechanical creatures that can both mimic and control any organic life form or machine. The greatest breakthrough of modern science. They were engineered by the Council of Science as a way of dealing with the overpopulation of Earth. Really? How does that work? Oh, and I died. So busy reading that I got sent back to my Reactivatron, or whatever it's called. Rebuildatron? There we go. So let's try to be a little bit more careful this time so I don't get slaughtered. Get that power up. 100 energons plus 1 life, I guess. Let's see. Oh, door opens. Very good. And another rebuildatron, so I was that close to another checkpoint when I died earlier. I can take the elevator down if I want, but let me check the map. Do I need to be doing that? I think so. I think I want to go as low into the lower decks as I can. This elevator was not working earlier when I played the beginning level. Oh, wait. Why? How can I get this to work? I guess I won't. Alright, let's just ride that down. Oh good, I was the last one to make it down here. Everybody else is safe now. The crazy helper bots raided our supplies. There are energons. Is this the Transformers now? This game is very highly inspired by my youth and by the creator's youth. Let's see. The trick against sweeper bosses, jump on them and blast these. Aren't you going to tell me what happened? Why are you telling me how to destroy monsters? Okay. But what is actually going on? Why is the ship in a state of emergency? We sent a guard down this hall to find a way out, and he has not returned. To find a way out? It's a spaceship. Don't you know what to do? Where to go? Tap the Z button to do a quick small jump, press and hold the Z button to jump higher. Oh, interesting. So sort of a rocket jump kind of thing you got going on here. Let's see if I can do this. Wait, is it? Am I not doing that right? It doesn't seem to be important. Fire your blaster at the floor repeatedly while holding Z to get a boost. Well, it didn't really do much for me. Oh, but I'm going to have to master this because that's the only way to get across this jump. Alright, let's try this again. Oh, it does work. Interesting. So it doesn't make me jump higher, it just slows the rate at which I descend. Hey, hidden area. Why else would they have put the spikes there, right? Whoops. Whoops. Okay. Oh, the floor came back. Hey, that won't open up for me. It's annoying. Oh, I want to get that power up there. Got it. So some cool platforming on this level, in this game. There are over 100 levels, which I think just means 100 different floors. Whoa. What just happened? Oh! Wow, one-hit kills on those things. That's no fun. Oh, and didn't do that right either. There we go. Oh, robots. Yay. Alright, a little bit more careful here. So this game was Kickstarter back. As you'll learn in the interview later with the artist of the game. And I'm seeming to be a little stuck here. In that I don't quite know where to go next. This door won't open for me. I can't seem to jump high enough to get to the higher floors up there. Oh, I can double jump. That's what happened earlier. There we go. And now I've opened the door. I wasn't really sure if that was in my best interest, but I wanted. So, wow, this game is getting more difficult much quickly. But I know I'm in the right area because they were teaching me how to, like, double jump, which is pretty basic stuff. What is going on here, guys? Captain! The scientists have been cocooned by a terror-oozling monstrosity. And there it is. But I never saw Paris. No! Oh, poor Captain will never see France. Wow, my first boss battle. That's pretty cool. Whoa. I've been slimed. Alright, so I have to hit his head. His body won't count. And the bats are just getting in the way. It burns! Tastes like burning. Low health. My body, no! Oh, hi. I'm melting. Yeah, I didn't expect it to last very long after that close encounter. So let's give that battle one more try, and then we'll move on to the interview portion of IndieSider. No! Wish I could find some sort of a platform to stand on that was at eye level to the monster. I don't know why he doesn't just eat me up. Oh, I was totally ignoring the health meter. I don't know how close I got to killing him. I'm just kind of mashing both buttons here, which is why so many of my shots are going under him. Wow, he was actually aiming those shots at me. Whoop. Ow. Darn it. Alright. Let's move on to the interview. Today I have the pleasure of speaking with Castle Pixel's co-founder, Rob Maher. Hello, Rob.
Hey, Ken. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for being had. So this is Castle Pixel's first game, is that correct?
Our first big game. We've done smaller releases in the past, but yeah, this is like our first major project, so yeah.
The first product under that label, Castle Pixel?
No, we actually put out like a small iPhone game like a couple months ago. But yeah, this is our first big project. So
Excellent. So how did you get into this? What is Castle Pixel's background? How did it get founded?
well, let's see. I met up with Tyler. Tyler's the programmer, and I met up with him on some internet boards, and we started Rex Rocket as kind of like a little side project, and it just kind of grew into something more. And then we ran the Kickstarter, and then we formed Castle Pixel, the company, shortly after that. And that's kind of how we got to where we are today.
So you are in Pittsburgh, and Tyler is in Toronto. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Have you two met in person before?
Yeah, I went up there for Toronto's. They have a gaming and comics festival once a year, and there's a place up there that runs like a little indie game festival inside of like the bigger festival, called the Bit Bazaar. And I went up there. I met him then. We also went to like the Indie Mega booth out in San Francisco. Or wait. Yeah, well, GDC. Yeah, GDC San Francisco a couple months ago. But yeah, that's the only times I've actually met him in person.
So what sort of collaborative tools do you need to work with someone who's geographically removed?
Biggest tool would probably be Skype. Being able to like share screens with someone and talk to them, it's pretty invaluable. Especially the screen sharing. Screen sharing, Skype, Dropbox is also another major component of it. We're really small team, so we just use Dropbox instead of like GitHub.
You mentioned Kickstarter. I see that you were looking for 6,000. You got 10,000, which is great. But Shovel Knight, which was recently published by Yacht Club Games, that developer published a list of the amount of money it takes to make an indie game, and they feel that they actually underestimated their needs with $300,000. So what can you do with $10,000 to make an indie game?
Let's see. With 10 grand, I was, at the time, whenever we originally ran the Kickstarter, I had been working a full-time job, so Rex was still a part-time job, and I was, making extra money on the side, doing freelancing. So 10 grand really, it allowed me to stop looking for freelance projects and focus, like, exclusively on Rex Rocket. It also helped us pay for, like, the Indie Mega booth that we went to for GDC and PAX East. It's helped us with buying, any kind of hardware we needed, like controllers, stuff like that. Even like an iPad for testing Rex out on. Well, there's a lot you can do with $10,000. A little bit on marketing, stuff like that. But we're like basically a two-man team when it comes to development. There's like myself and Tyler, so we didn't have I guess, overhead as Yacht Club Games did. I mean, their team's like significantly larger than ours. So, but yeah, $10,000. It's definitely not 300,000, but you can still do a heck of a lot with it.
You mentioned a small amount of that money is for marketing. You are one of the few indie developers who has approached me via YouTube, which is surprising to me because there was a great Gamasutra article just last month about how to get YouTubers to play your indie games, and you're one of the few people who's actually followed that advice. How is that approach working out for you?
Really great. We've gotten there's a large number of YouTubers that are playing Rex, and I think it really helped. I just I looked up Let's Plays for like Shovel Knight and all sorts of different kind of retro games that are in the same genre of Rex, and I just sent each one of them a individual message telling them about the game, and I think it was a really great way to get the word out to the YouTuber community, and I think it's worked out really well for them.
Yeah, I saw one YouTube Let's Player named Blitz did a complete Let's Play of your game. Took him about 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Blitz, he was one of the first to do an entire Let's Play. But yeah, it's really going well with them. I'm actually been reaching out to like the speedrunning communities lately because there's a number of speedrunning people that are really loving the heck out of Rex. So, but yeah, just reaching out to all these like individual communities of people. It's something I've kind of been spearheading ever since we released.
So this game came out on August 5th on Steam for the PC. Was it very difficult to get onto Steam?
Yeah, it wasn't a huge deal. We ran, the Steam Greenlight process. It got voted in, and yeah, it was really nice. Flow to get the game onto Steam from Greenlight. Like the people over at Valve are extra helpful, and but yeah, it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work getting there. So.
So it released originally for the PC. You were kind enough to give me an early access to the Mac version, which is what I've been playing. And I've seen a couple of different strategies for approaching these multi-platform releases. Some people will do the PC and Mac version first and then mobile version later. Other people will do it the other way around. Other people will just do everything all at once. So what is your approach to deciding which platforms to come out for and when?
The first one was obviously PC, and we just did that because we knew we could do that the quickest. We could get it up onto the Steam platform. Following that, it's really, I guess it would be about, and this would probably be more of a question for Tyler, the programmer, but the framework that we use to develop the game allows us to port it to the other platforms. So I think porting it from PC to Mac is relatively easy when compared to porting it from PC to like a mobile device. But the framework that we used, it does allow us to do this. So the Mac build should be out like within a week probably, and the iOS build should be out within a month. So after the iOS build, we're going to be taking it to Android as well for like Android Fire TVs and Android tablets. So Ouya as well. So a lot of platforms on the roadmap coming up.
Did you see any advantage to delaying any of those releases to make them simultaneous, like waiting until the Mac version was ready before releasing the PC version?
We wanted to do that, but really getting the PC version up there, and again, we only have Tyler, who's like the main programmer. He only has so much bandwidth, so getting one stable version of Rex Rocket up for the PC version was more than enough work for him, and I don't really think he had the bandwidth to take on a Mac version as well. It would have been nice to release simultaneously, but I don't think we're going to lose out too much by getting the Mac version up there. And we're probably going to be running a sale too to promote the Mac build, so hopefully it works out.
So this game is inspired by the likes of Mario, Mega Man, and Metroid. Based on that ancestry, I suspect that you and I are roughly the same age, early to mid-30s.
Yep, I'm turning 30 next month.
So all these games that are harkening back to our youth, are we all just trying to recapture the games that we grew up with?
Yeah, I think so. At least for me, I have a big soft spot for nostalgic things. So, kind of making this game is kind of like reclaiming, the video games of my youth. So, but yeah, I try to update the visuals and the gameplay and kind of take it a notch up. So, it's more of how I remember my classic retro games in my mind. It's brought new life to them basically.
I don't remember the games we grew up with having quite this style of sense of humor, though.
Yeah, that's just one of the many things that kind of brings it into modern times, I guess.
Now, all the main characters, the humans, they're not shaped or looking like humans. They're more like Lego characters or the serve bots from Mega Man.
Yeah, totally. That's just my art style. I grew up on Legos as well, so the character proportions in Blossom Tales are more of a 2-head ratio. The Legos are like probably 3-head, close to 3-head ratio. But yeah, a lot of people. I think it's the color of the skin, the golden color, that kind of sets them into more of like the Lego realm. That and the eyeballs too. It's very Lego-y, but yeah, Simpsons, Legos, it's a big influence on me, so kind of shows.
Yeah, and there seems to be quite the trend toward making more Metroidvania games nowadays. I think Shadow Complex, which came out a couple of years ago for the Xbox 360, was one of my recent favorites in that genre, and Rex Rocket seems to be a lot of fun with a lot of different weapons and areas to explore. I think you said over 100 different levels in the spaceship.
Yeah, it's close to 150.
Wow. The Kickstarter ran in May of 2013, so you've been working on this for about a year and a half?
Yep, about a year. I mean, we put a couple months, maybe like 2 months, 3 months of development into it before we ran the Kickstarter. But yeah, it took us about a year and a half, right?
Do you see the game as it's been released as being complete, or is there going to be expansion packs, DLCs, more levels, more playable characters like Shovel Knight is doing?
Yeah, definitely. I think the first thing we're going to be doing is adding in casual mode for the game at some point in the future, probably after we get like the iOS release out the door. The iOS release, I'm tailoring it to be a much more casual experience. So there's like no live system in the iOS. The bosses are easier. There's less enemies, stuff like that. So it's kind of getting turned into more of a casual game for iOS, and we're probably going to take those elements and put it into an alternate mode for like the desktop versions.
Likewise, will the iOS version have a hardcore mode?
Yeah, definitely. We'll have original Rex Rocket and vanilla, the casual Rex Rocket.
Now, this game, in addition to the graphics and levels that we've discussed, also has 37 tracks of music from an artist named Sasquatch. Is that correct?
Yeah. Nigel Shields. He's fantastic. He really killed it with the Rex Rocket soundtrack.
How did you get hooked up with him?
I've always been a big fan of chiptunes. So whenever it came to making like the soundtrack, I went to a website, chipmusic.org, and I posted on the forums, with a nice little about the game, and Nigel was one of the people who responded, and there was actually a lot of really amazing artists that responded. But when I went with Nigel, his music was like more Mega Man than anyone else's, really. So he's done like covers of all the old Mega Man games, and like he's just a very talented artist. So we were really ecstatic that he decided that he wanted to work with us.
And you can buy the soundtrack separately for $8 on Bandcamp, I understand.
Right, yeah. If you do Google Sasquatch Bandcamp, it'll come up. There's also a link to it on the bottom of the Steam page.
Who are some of your other favorite chiptune artists?
Let's see. I'm a big fan of Saber Pulse, Little Scale. Who else? Henry Homesweet, I guess, is on there. And then, a lot of the composers for like Mega Man and Zelda and a lot of those old school games. But yeah, I'm a big chiptunes fan. Like, before I had made the post on chipmusic.org, I had been listening to like Blip festivals, which are kind of like these big chiptune festivals that they have. I don't think they still do them anymore, but I'd actually heard Sasquatch in those. So when he hit me up, it's like, oh, I know this guy. I know Sasquatch. So that was very cool.
I think the Blipfest ended 3 or 4 years ago. There was a documentary about one of the early ones called Reformat the Planet by Two Player Productions. And more recently, there was a documentary that just came out in the past year called Europe in 8 Bits. It's ostensibly all about the chiptune scene in Europe, but it actually covers more of a global scene as well. If you haven't seen that one, I definitely recommend it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
The Reformat the Planet documentary, it's kind of dated by now because it's about a festival that no longer exists, and it's one of Two Player Productions' earlier works. They've since gone on to do much better stuff, like about Minecraft and Double Fine, and I don't even think it's available anymore in hard copy, and they haven't done a digital release, but they're working on it. But Europe in 8 Bits, it's brand new. You can get it on Vimeo for like $3.
Very cool. Very cool.
So Rex Rocket is out. It seems to be doing pretty well, and you've already set your sights on your next game, which you mentioned is called Blossom Tales.
Right, yeah. Blossom Tales, the Sleeping King. It's about a young girl who the story starts with her getting initiated into the Knights of the Rose in the Blossom Kingdom, and then from there it kind of goes into a classic story of the king getting cursed to sleep, and then it's up to this little knight to go around and collect the ingredients to make a potion and break the spell.
Will this also be a Metroidvania?
Yeah, it'll have a lot of elements from a Metroidvania, but it's going to be more akin to a action RPG, like a Zelda-like.
Oh, excellent! We can always use more Zelda games in the world.
Yeah, definitely. So, it should be very cool. We're going to be running a Kickstarter for it probably by next week. So.
Oh, great. Maybe by the time this video airs, it'll be up, and if it is, just send me a link and I'll put it in the show notes.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Yeah, definitely.
And what is the ETA for Blossom Tales? When can I get my hands on that one?
You know what? If it gets funded, we'll probably take us maybe like a year and a half to make it. Same as Rex Rocket. But if it doesn't get funded, we're probably still going to make it, but putting it out in episodic releases. We'll probably do like the start of the game and give it a starting and ending segments and do some restructuring. But either way, it's probably still going to happen.
Excellent. Great. Well, thanks so much for your time, sir. It's been a blast playing Rex Rocket. I look forward to seeing more of the later levels. The sense of humor has really caught me right off the bat. There are so many other games that are 2D platformers inspired by our youth. And what sets this one apart? And I loved the scene at the very beginning where the creatures bust out of their containment tubes, and I eradicate them because that's what the game expects me to do. And one of the characters says, "Oh, well, your way was certainly faster." Like, I've never really thought that I was supposed to feel bad about this, but now I'm in this existential quarry of Mario jumping on all these turtles, these poor turtles.
Yeah.
So thank you for not making it just fun, but also fun and, thought-provoking and philosophical and existential.
Cool, yeah. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
I am. Great. Thank you very much.
Yep, and thanks for having me.